Battlefield 6 REDSEC is off to an absolutely phenomenal start, but if you've had the chance to play, then you know there is a vast difference between all of the weapons that you can find out there. From what I've noticed, a lot of the videos seem to be tailored towards the streaming pro rather than the common player. So in today's video, my goal is to make sure that you understand not only what are the best loadouts, but most importantly, what stats should you be looking at and how do they affect your gameplay. My name is Merlin. I'm a certified Battle Royale demon, and I'm actually live every single day. So if you guys are looking for a spot to hang out or you just want to see the gameplay in action, make sure to come through and check it out. Before we get started, please do me a favor. Do not like or subscribe yet. Wait until the end of the video, and if at the end you felt like you got something that was actually worth it, then drop the like and subscribe. Because personally, I just think that there's a lot of people doing a lot of people a big injustice, and you guys deserve good content, and that's what I want to bring you. So if you enjoyed it, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, let's go make some magic. Starting us off, I think the RPKM makes a great base for us to evolve from. So let's go ahead and break this down. The RPKM is a very good mid-range, accurate rifle. Now, there is only one AR on this entire list, and if you're asking why, there are a few very good reasons. The first reason, and this is incredibly important, is bullet velocity. There have been a lot of complaints about hit reg in Battlefield REDSEC. Now, I don't know the truth around how that's actually going, but one thing I will tell you is that if you're struggling with hit reg, I guarantee that raising your bullet velocity will help you hit more shots. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but you've got to lead people an insane amount, I feel like, in this game at some of the distances that we fight at when you're out there. So having an even slower bullet velocity, like at around 700, just does not cut it. And with the way that people are moving, it makes it really just a guessing game for you, and I don't want to guess. The second reason is because of bloom, which is directly correlated to the precision stat. Sorry, I just had to say that like 10 times over and over again, which you can see right here. The less bloom I have, the less guessing I'm doing. And remember, I'm not trying to guess. Third thing we're going to look at is damage or downs per mag. This is simply how many people can I down with one magazine in my gun. This is going to make a huge difference when switching from duos to quads, or when we eventually get solos or trios added into the game. Starting off once again with the RPKM. This LMG is great for mid-range. It does have a bit of difficulty once you start getting past this like 50 to 60 meter range. You can see it's a bit bouncy, but compared to a lot of other guns, the recoil is incredibly easy to control. It also hits relatively hard. If you look, damage value 33, that's really nice. Rate of fire 553. Let's look at the other thing here, which is our bullet velocity. On my build currently, 837. Now, in a perfect world, I would love to get to a space where we're a little bit closer to 1,000. The reason why a lot of our shots are not hitting is just because this bullet velocity is slow, and with the amount that we have to lead, it just creates a lot of variability. Lastly, the RPKM has a 40 round mag, so damage per mag pretty solid considering most ARs have around a 30 round mag. But what is going to be better than this if we want better bullet velocity, better damage per mag, and a tighter bloom? This brings us to my baby. I absolutely love the KTS 100 right now. This is probably one of my favorite guns in the game. It's just absolutely clutch. The damage is lower, 25 damage. Rate of fire is lower, 514. That means that for sure the TTK is lower. But look at how high our precision is, and then look at that bullet velocity of 1,050, and then look at that mag size of 60. And this is why this is a long range demon. Now, going into this build, there are a few very unique ways that you can run the KTS 100 because of the fact that it's so accurate. Normally, you have to spend tons of points in your build in order to get a good foregrip, a good suppressor, praying and hoping that you can hit your shots. Well, this is why the KTS is so good. I don't need an unbelievable foregrip to make this accurate. I can run this with absolutely no foregrip if I want to. The only reason I have one right now is because I have the extra points. Eventually, once I unlock the synthetic rounds, it's over. Then I'm just going to take that off and I get to still use those. Or I can leave the hollow points. I can go ahead and grab myself a thermal sight. Why not? You know? Oh, I just unlocked the 3X. Oh my God, dude, it's so over. Except that thing makes it look crazy. This is why it's so good. The way I would build this, every single weapon that you use, you should run a suppressor. Otherwise, you're going to show up in some shape or form in the game. We'll get into that in a later video. Just know you need a suppressor. You can use the flash hider, but you're still going to get the little ping. So I'd run suppressor. I run the heavy extended. You can choose whatever you want here, really. If you want to get some faster ADS, you know, be my guest. You've got the points to do it. You don't need the stability, so it's really up to you. I leave the 60 round mag. We don't need to change that to anything else, but having the drum mag allows you to have an incredibly fast reload time for the amount of ammo that you have. I run the hollow points. Once I unlock the synthetics, I'll then use the synthetic rounds, have a rail coverage, which allows me a bit faster ADS. Something else that I was just thinking about now to play with, I don't believe that the gun necessarily needs the match trigger modification for the reduced recoil and semi-auto, because I think if you switch to semi-auto, you're going to be incredibly accurate anyways. But at very long ranges with the synthetic ammo, honestly, I don't even feel like that's a good idea, because I could say that you could switch to semi-auto, but I hit so many headshots at long range when someone's holding like they think they got a head glitch, but I've got a KTS 100 and ping, 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 ping. All of a sudden I've got 4 headshots in a row. You don't need it. So just make the gun as sick as possible. Let's head into the firing range. Oh, let's head into the firing range. Let's head into the firing range. There we go. We got it. My God. So you can see here, super easy to use. I've got a 5x scope on this. Normally, you increase the zoom on your scopes, you're going to have way more recoil. You don't get that with this. Why? Because it's so accurate once again. So I just so sick, dude. The other benefit is, obviously, my dummies aren't shooting back at me right now, but when you're playing REDSEC, people are going to shoot at you. If I'm breathing, if I'm moving, if I'm thinking, if I'm existing, if somebody else is shooting back at me, if I'm going left to right, my bloom is increasing. So having something like this means that when you are in a pressure situation, as someone who generally doesn't, I don't know, sweat their balls off every single day on this game, don't know who that would be. You've got a chance to make a play, because as you're getting shot at and the pressure's on and you're going to make mistakes, this helps you reduce your mistakes. It makes you a bit more consistent, and it makes you not have to what? Guess. Because at least I know somewhat where my bullets are going, and I always have the ability to slow down and really press somebody if I need to. So I promise you right now, your most consistent long-range rifle is going to be the KTS 100 until they change it. Quick plug, if you're enjoying the video, but you're thinking to yourself, damn, I'd love to aim like that, but my controller feels like it's possessed, then I recommend going to check out my settings video right here. This is what I think is the #1 controller settings video on YouTube for Battlefield 6 and Battlefield 6 REDSEC. This is a combination of a lot of information, and if you guys are coming from Call of Duty, it feels exactly like dynamic from COD set to 6.6 or 1.6 from Black Ops. So check that out if you guys need any help. Let's get back into it. Next 3 weapons that we're talking about are all relatively in the same category for me, but there's some very, very serious differences in the way that you use them. Starting this off, we're gonna go with the SVK 8.6. This is the #1 DMR in the game. You can see 66 damage, 900 bullet velocity. Rate of fire is pretty slow, obviously, because it's a DMR, but you can see heading into this firing range, an absolute monster. 50 every at any range. Headshots 75. This is a 4-shot kill. An absolute, I mean, just a monster. The benefit of running the SVK is that I get something that hits really hard and is very accurate, but I have a much faster rate of fire. So I think you're able to predict movement a little bit easier when you're shooting like this. It does have a ton of recoil, but only visual recoil. You can see every time I shoot, my dot does recenter exactly where it just was. It's just gonna like it just goes crazy. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of got to let her just go nuts a little bit. If you got a girl, you already know. So just kind of let her go crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then every time she calms down, yeah, you can set it out again. Looking at the build, obviously, once again, suppressor, extended barrel, vertical foregrip. This is, I don't think it's a huge deal. You can see my level's still really low and I've been using it really well. 10 round mag. I would love to be able to get the hollow points in there or the long range really for the reduced bullet drop, which would be nice too. I put the basic sight on there just like for fun. I wouldn't do this if I were you, but I tried it out for fun. Once again, 4.5 times, even a 5-time scope, whichever one you like. Actually, I like the 5 times quite a bit more, I think. Yeah, I'll probably run that. The magnification is good, especially for a single shot weapon like that. And then a red laser. Got the extra points. You can take it off or replace that with something else if you'd like. Let's get into the snipers. If you guys are good at sniping, I highly recommend using this in Battlefield 6 REDSEC, especially as long as one person in your squad can do this. Just make sure that that person isn't sitting too far behind. They need to be a fast sniper unless both of you have communicated that you guys want to chill. Just keep that in mind. The M2010, 1000 bullet velocity, it does 100 damage. You got a 250 ADS time. It's fantastic. It's got a faster bullet velocity than the PSR. I don't know why people say to use the PSR. It doesn't make any sense. This has faster bullet velocity. They both do the same damage. There's nothing else to do. The other option, which a lot of people love, is the mini scout. It only does 80 damage, but it's got a faster rate of fire, and you also get twice the mag size for free. You can also rechamber while you're ADS'd without using any attachment points, which is another major bonus. You can see 1100 bullet velocity, a faster ADS time, and a faster reload time. This is a much faster, closer engagement sniper. Obviously, you can still use it at long range, but this is a great combination of kind of like the SVK and the M2010 combined. Builds for these are really similar. Let's look at the M2010. Obviously, suppressor, the extended barrel. I'm using the angled grip for a bit of faster ADS, but if I decide to use the stubby grip, I want to show you something. If you go into the firing range and you aim down sight, you've got a thumb in your way. We don't want the thumb in the way. So instead, if you do want the faster ADS, switch to the angled, and then the thumb will not be blocking. Running the 5 fast, I think the 25 points for the 8 round is way overkill. Long range rounds, so less bullet drop. The ADS bolt, I think, is really important on the 2010. You need to be able to rechamber when you're ADS to take advantage of the fact that I am hitting people for a lot of damage. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of having to scope out and then scope back in. I would like to stay there, track my target, and then follow up with that second final kill. I just realized I actually unlocked the 8 times. Thank God. The 6 times just does not give you enough magnification. So the 8 times in REDSEC, especially at the distances that we're playing, is really beneficial. Now heading over to the build on the mini scout, I don't have this leveled up as much because you have to go through the battle pass in order to get this. Just so you can see what that looks like. If I go here to battle pass, you need to go over to Soldiers of Fortune, select this, and now almost at the end of this page, I can unlock it finally. They did make it easier to earn tokens to go through the battle pass, but it's quite a bit of time. So if you don't have the mini scout unlocked yet, that's why I say use your 2010. But let's go into that build. So flash hider, just because I do not have a suppressor unlocked yet, I've just got to take this into like multiplayer or something like that and get it leveled up. The extended barrel, stubby, 10 fast. Does the stubby do the same thing? It does not. So you can use the stubby on the scout and then you don't get the weird thumb in front of your scope. The 10 fast, just because I don't have the 20 fast or anything like that, I would probably use like a 15 fast if I had it, because we do have the room for the points. The penetration rounds, because I'm not worried about any type of increased recoil, that's not a big deal. You don't have any type of ADS bolt because that's not a thing. You don't need it. You can get anti-glare though, which I do like. And then obviously the 6 times. Once I unlock the 8 times or something else like that, I'm not sure if I would actually go to an 8 times on the scout because I do like using it in closer engagements as well. So that's a cool way to play with it. You can definitely go to a 3 times or a 5 times if you wanted to focus on the closer engagements with this guy. But you can see here, right? Quite a bit faster than what I'll show you. On the M2010. You know, really seeing them side by side like that, not a huge difference if I'm being honest. I think the Scout allows you to have the larger mag, which then gives it a bit more freedom. I think this excels more of in the closer engagement range, maybe less than 100 meters. And then if you're going anything above that, I probably still run the 2010. I like the increase in damage. I think that helps. If you're going to go for something faster, just run the SVK. It's going to do the same thing for you. And it's a little bit more versatile. That way you're not getting stuck in some of those situations. Take them out there, test them out yourselves, and see what you enjoy the most. These are definitely more high skills. So if you're looking for something that's more consistent, your KTS is going to be way more consistent, and then I would use an SMG on the side. If you want to go for something higher skill and you're kind of getting beamed at different ranges, then I would go for these snipers. These next three guns and the last three closing out our list are what I like to call the Build-A-Bear guns. If you're wondering why I call them that, it's because I think that these are better to be built off the ground, aka finding them on the map and then just using the upgrade tokens, rather than actually taking in your loadout. A lot of times we only get one chance to grab our loadout gun, and sometimes we're lucky and we can get 2 or 3 attempts to grab the extras. Oh, shout out to whoever just subscribed, Ken Cato. My G, let's go, man. Welcome to the Arcane, brother. A lot of times you only get one choice. That choice, I'm going to be picking a KTS 100 or a sniper and then using or looking for something else to use. That's why I say build these from the ground instead. You don't unlock the attachments that you really need to make them good enough and for a very long time. So until you've played enough games to get these to high levels, to get the benefits from the attachments, don't waste it. With all of that being said, let's look at our only assault rifle on the list, the TR7, one of the fastest TTKs and the highest damage per second in the game. This thing is the monster. I've got a suppressor on there. I would love to have the better suppressor that reduces the recoil, but currently just don't have it unlocked. The big thing that you want on these guys, it does 33 damage. That's generally our highest for most of our rifles. Using the hollow point here is going to do a big difference. The reason I'm not using it on this build is because the TR7 is like trying to ride a bull at the rodeo. I'll show you guys what I mean. This bad boy gets rowdy, okay? I'm not gonna lie, with my controller settings and then the aim assist in REDSEC, it seems like not as many bullets are hitting, but more bullets actually hit. I don't know if the bullets like are larger or have a larger hitbox, but I find I actually hit quite a bit of shots. I do recommend using this particular sight on this. This is the one-time sight in the mini flex. The others, I get a lot of movement or they look really weird. You can try them out for yourself and decide based on your FOV and things like that. But for me, I feel like the mini flex gives me the least amount of recoil. I could take off this red laser and go for the better rounds, but I want to use a laser because, like I said, this is my secondary gun. So I like to use the TR7 with my snipers or the TR7 with the SVK because I get a larger damage per mag. I've got a 25 round mag in this. That's one of the benefits of getting to a higher level. And then I also have an 810 bullet velocity with this, which I like as well. So it helps me at some of the larger engagements, and I'm still going to absolutely fry you up close. The other attachments I'm using, the vertical grip, the extended barrel, really up to you if you need them, but I do recommend using that 25 round mag. Once you unlock the 25 round mag, I think using it from the loadout is worth it. Otherwise, I would just build it from the ground. Now, going to our second best SMG, the KV9. Rate of fire 1080, absolutely insane, but it's got a really, really small mag. This is something for sure building off the ground. Oddly enough, the KV9, when I use it in REDSEC, it's incredibly accurate. When I build it, it gets a lot more rowdy. But It fries. It's just got a small mag, so you're ripping through mags like that, which if you're especially playing quads is incredibly difficult. That's where the TR7 comes into play. That's where that damage per mag comes into play. Just so you can see the build, same type of thing. We're using the good suppressor on this guy, extended the vertical, the 17 round mag. You can see here, I don't unlock the 23 round until mastery 26, and then the 27 until 40, which is 45 points just to use that mag, where I can do the upgrades on Battle Royale in REDSEC, and I think I get the 23 round mag like on my second choice, which is fantastic. I do have the hollow point rounds on that. The hollow point rounds, when you're getting the headshot multiplier, don't make that big of a difference the lower your damage is, obviously, because it's not going to raise it that much. But I'll take any type of help I can get with the KV9 in order to increase my TTK a bit to get more damage per mag. And then, like I said, no other accessories. That then leads us into the #1 TTK weapon in the entire game. The thing I say all the time, the SCW-10. You've already heard about it. We're here to talk about it again. We're rocking the good suppressor. We've got the extended barrel, the vertical. I only have the 20 round mag. Like I said, you want to run the 25, but I don't unlock this until mastery 27. You can get the 25 round mag on the blue version of the SCW-10 when you pick it up from the ground. Make sure that when you are upgrading it to focus on the mag size, it's really accurate. It is a monster. The benefit of building it is once you get it to level 33, which I still got 10 more mastery levels to go, I can then use the hollow point. The hollow point does make a huge difference on the SCW-10 because its base damage is 33. So because of that higher damage, you get a better benefit. Taking it into the firing range, it's a lot more stable. It's really stable in REDSEC as well. You're looking at easily a full down or 1.5 downs. Up close, this is the type of thing where as I push a corner and, you know, slide past someone, hit him with the shots, they're dead so fast. A lot of people aren't ready for that. A lot of people are rocking, you know, something like a PW5, which has a TTK that's 3 times as high. A lot of people are using the SGX, which instead of having a, you know, it's like 180 or a 220 millisecond TTK, has a 550 millisecond TTK. It's just too high. So those are the moments where if you're playing quads and you want to use the SGX, you want to use your PW5 because it's incredibly accurate and it's a laser and you feel comfortable doing that, don't get mad when someone absolutely obliterates you faster than you've killed somebody all day. It's because they watched my video, but luckily you have too, and now you know what to do. Like I said, make sure you're building this from the ground until you have it all the way leveled up and you can take full advantage of the attachments. Otherwise, I would focus a lot of your builds on your first weapon that you're choosing and then spending your time in REDSEC at the beginning primarily searching for your secondary weapon. So I know that I'm going to load in this game. I want to use the SVK, so I'm going to try and find an SCW-10. Or you're just taking things as they come. Maybe I find a KV9, I find a TR7, I find the SCW, and I decide to run that until I find the other one or I get better upgrades, right? So if you guys like the video, drop the like, make sure to subscribe. After you've liked the video, real quick, go to that same spot. You're gonna swipe over right there. It's gonna say hype. This is a new thing from YouTube. Please drop some hype for me on the video. Shout out to all my members. Shout out to everyone that's new, and I'll see you guys soon. Later. Oh, dude, I just slammed my elbow against the table. What the?